Watching this morning during the live itself, or if you end up tuning in after, good early Saturday morning. I really appreciate you tuning in as I let this set up so that I can see everybody's comments. I have it set up on my phone like I would have on my touchscreen TV next to me at home so that you guys don't have to see the chat um, in the toolbar. I think it makes it a little bit easier so that you don't have to go through all the comments and things like that. But let me get these comments up, and I would like to start off by saying good morning to everybody. Oops. And I'll give you guys an update on my son. It's going to take a second for this to push through the algorithm. So we got time. We've got time. So let's see. Jason, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Out House Crypto News. Jorge, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Says good morning, Tom. Good morning, people. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way in to show your support. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. And Jason said, can't wait to get this party started, and we're going to. Keith Morgan, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your third month with the XRP Meteor, or 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Mark Caston, appreciate you being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So Badge. Top of the morning to you as well. Keith asked how my son's doing. A lot better this morning. His fever seems to have broken for the most part. He slept good. The only thing is we're gonna try to do a feeding this morning. He was getting Pedialyte last night through his tube, and he held it all down, and he threw up twice yesterday. After the second time, though, he started to you could see that his fever was starting to go down and things like that. He slept good throughout the night. And this morning he woke up more like himself. He's not sweating, he's not as hot. So definitely going in the right direction. We go back home tomorrow morning. So we came out here to get his G2 button changed, but he ended up getting sick. And he had a temperature that spiked to like 105, and it caused, ephemeral seizure. It was very brief, less than like 45 seconds, but I did call 911 on Friday just to make sure that his vitals and everything ended up checking out, which they did. And progressively was getting better. Yesterday he threw up a couple times, twice, which when you have a fever, your body, as you know, it's raising up because you have some kind of infection in your body. So your body, your body core temperature rises and it kills off the infection. Sometimes it takes 24, 48, 72 hours. And the biggest reason why you would end up in the hospital is because when your body gets so hot for so long, for some of you who don't know, your organs end up boiling, basically. So the temperature in itself is good because it kills off the bad bacteria, the poisons, the things that your body's trying to fight from the infection. But it can also be bad for a prolonged period of time, especially over 105. Once you get to that 105, 103 and higher, but 105 is where you get to that level. You start going into seizures and things like that. And he had a brief spike, and that's what happened. But, something serious was going on in the body, so it needed to warm itself up. That's the best way to look at it. His body boiled up to kill off the infection. And now, yesterday, he threw it up a couple of times. That's why they say starve a fever, because you're trying to get it out of your body, and the more you eat, the more upset you become. But we were giving him the Pedialyte, and I give him the unflavored with none of that bullshit in it, none of the the yellow dyes and red dyes, but I can't get into that. JW is going to say right now already you're going to get banned. But so thank you for all the kind words. He's doing fantastic this morning. In all honesty, hopefully we can enjoy this day. The last 2 days have been chaotic. I got to get like 6 hours of sleep last night, so I was very happy about that. I was working off an hour and a half of sleep yesterday, which is interesting. Fletcher, good morning. UK Phil, welcome in, my friend, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Joseph Euler, good morning. He says the Tom and the community. What a guy. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Syrian, good morning, and thanks for being a very trusted mod, as well as being part of Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Marcus, good morning. Wow, Marcus, you've been in this audience for a long time. I can't remember the last time I seen, probably in a recent live, but I know you've been around for quite some time from the UK. Excellent. Mr. Hall is also in the audience this morning. John Hall, good morning, brother. And thank you for still being a part of this. I remember when you first started joining my audience, when XRP, right before that breakout, sometime before that breakout in 24, you were around for several months, and you were starting to buy in, and then all of a sudden you got to see all the glory, which is awesome. Speaking of glory, don't forget to give thanks to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ this morning. The most humble of days and the most holy of days on Saturday. This is the day where we can show true grace. Like I say, if you're looking to become wealthy, if you're looking to create abundance, if you're a horrible person now, if you're a dick, if you're mean, if you're an angry person, money's not going to solve that problem. So you need to look within to give out, basically. You know, you want to create abundance, not for just yourself. You want to do it for everybody around you, which is going to be hard because 9 out of 10 people are dopes. So you're going to have to speak in a language they understand. Defined group, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor. Good morning to you. Jorge, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor and being a very trusted mod. John Page, good morning. Devin is in the house as well. Good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XP 589 Moon badge. I remember when you were excited about getting that 1 year badge, the I told you so badge. And here we are almost at the 3 year. And good morning to you, and thanks for being a very trusted mod. Thanks for the prayers, Jorge, for the family and my son. He is doing a lot better this morning. We'll see if he can hold like his feedings down this morning. But honestly, he's bounced back tremendously after 24 hours, which is what I was hoping. I was hoping it'd be more 24 hours instead of the 48 to 72 because we got to drive home tomorrow, and I would have stayed out here a few more nights because we're right by the best children's hospital in the country. Helen DeVos. 1970 Legend, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. You know, 1970 Legend, when you weren't in the audience, a lot of people asked about you. It's great to see. It was great to see. Notice one thing. A lot of people are subscribing to the channel, but a lot of people are only subscribing to the channel. And I get these messages all the time. I'm subscribing to your channel for when XRP and crypto go bullish again. No, don't do it like that. If you do it like that, you're going to miss the opportunity. Don't just subscribe to my channel so you can watch me when everything's good. You want to subscribe to this particular channel so you can watch us when things are not so lively. I'm going to be honest with you. That's the number one mistake new people make in my audience. They don't think they need to watch until things start breaking out. I honestly, that it couldn't be farther from the truth. You need to be watching me now when things are like this. You need to be watching, and you need not just me, but you need to be paying attention to crypto when we're in these moments. Like, these are my favorite times. This is when I know we're getting close to something big. Less people watch, and we'll get to 100 people by the end of this, but the point is less people watch, and all of a sudden, once the market starts pushing on, and everybody knows, you guys have been here for cycles. You know, in the beginning, I'd get 20 people. Market would do good, I'd have 100 people. In 23, market wasn't doing good, I'd get 40 people. It was doing good, I'd get 150 to 200. 24, market was doing bad, I'd get 60, 75 people. Doing good, 200, 300, 400 people. 25, market doing bad, usually 100, 150 people still. It starts out with 50, and then it takes about 25 minutes to get to 100 when it's doing bad. When it's doing good, we've had 500, 600 plus in 25. The problem is we need to find a better combination when it's doing bad. I need more people here when it's doing bad, and less people here when it's doing good. But when it's already doing good, it's too late. We're coming in here and doing the motions when it's doing good. When it's in the consolidatory phase, this is my favorite time to be alive. Favorite time to be in crypto. I even showed in XDC how you could be very strategic here. Strategic, and I said exactly, hey, I know that we're buying it every day, but this is a moment in time. Remember this structure right here where we could sell, or we could sell. Look, where we at? Remember the daily? If you have the testicular fortitude, you could take these. You could take this rejection, and we talked about this on Friday, and we talked it again on Thursday and Friday. I said if you had the balls on BITUNIX, you could sell that reversal like I did, and then you could simply buy it back 5% cheaper because on BITUNIX, there's no fees. So to put it in perspective, just that small drop, and I have not bought back because that's an engulfing candle down and on the weekend. I want to see how it plays out. When I sold it, it was around 7, almost 7.4. And it's not because I don't want XDC. It's because I looked at it and said, all right, Well, I've got 65,000 tokens, I believe, or 67,000, whatever it was. Now I can get 73,333 for the same money. And the point is this looked like it came up, and once it got rejected here, I'm like, uh-oh. And I came on and said, with XDC, but you're going to have some kind of testicular fortitude. I can't tell you what to do, but this is how I'm looking at it. And BITUNIX is a blessing because of this. And then I went into a spew about BITUNIX. It's a game changer because now you can buy and sell your cryptocurrency on the spot. And now it cost me like $1. Literally, when I sold XDC, I had $5,136. or $34. It cost me less than $3. I have $5,131 now. So for a $3 fee to sell $5,134, and then to buy it back, it'll be another. So it cost me like $6 to get in and out for over $5,000. Now you want to put that on crypto.com. You want to put that on Uphold. You want to put that on some of these other exchanges. It's not like that. I've been doing this long enough in front of all of you to know the difference, and it's a big difference. Huge difference. And ZBCN, that's an excellent. Remember ZBCN? I didn't have any knowledge of it 6 months ago. But somebody in my audience came in, a couple people, and came in and said, Tom, you need to look at ZBCN, not for the chart right now, but take a look at this information. So I debunked it for like 4 days. Came back and drew a chart out, and we were right here. And I said, whoever sent me this, because it rejected, they showed me it during the rejection in January, I believe it was. We watched the bottom, and I said, I'm buying when it hits down here, and it was at 0.00077. We wrote it all the way up here to 0.002, and I said, I'm selling. I need to see if it holds the back test of the breakout of the bearish pennant, or I'm going to let it bounce, and the next time I buy it, remember what I said? I'm buying it to hold it. Came down, I said I was going to buy it at 0.0142. Came down to 0.0145 roughly. I bought it, and I've not looked back. And I made a fair amount of money both times on this. The first time up was 150%, which was tremendous. I have over 1 million tokens again. And this time up, it's been 150% again. And when I say I measured this out, and I told everybody when it had that dip down, we are not done yet because the technical target needs to be filled out. We've now filled that technical target up. And now if this is going to be so extremely bullish that our heads are going to explode, which would be awesome. See this number right here? If we use that as support, discovery. But I'm going to warn you, if you're looking for a profit share here, this would be the opportunity to take profit. You come around, you create the inverse head and shoulders. Now you see how this side dipped like this? Down, right? Let me switch this back. This is where we've got to be confluent here with ZBCN. It's had a tremendous rally. It is not even close to being done. And this is not me saying, oh, I'm going to sell. But what I'm saying is this could be the opportunity, because if you look at, and we've looked at it every step of the way. But remember, I said, I'm not looking to buy or sell ZBCN. The price frame to get in and out of it is a little volatile. It's a little volatile. MXC, I still tell everybody to pay attention to. I've got 2.5 million tokens of MXC. And it's the re-entries at 0006 whatever and 0007. And then understanding if it does flip another zero, that's a big problem. But it seems to be when it came down to that 0006, we'll get into that too. It seemed to have created that inverse head like we were hoping. And we'll get into XRP, believe me. But I've started to realize, like, from a standpoint, there's certain things I need to cover sometimes when they're in the moment. Like ZBCN's in a moment. We made 150%. And all we did was waited for the breakout to back test the exact level we talked about. That's all we did. And I told everybody, I can't buy it when it's up here. I'm waiting for it to come down. And this ended up being a fake out. And a lot of people ended up buying that rotational tug because they thought this was a bull flag, which it was just a cup and handle on the back end. So now it's doing exactly what we were talking about before. And it's pretty scary when it starts to do it identically. Like when it starts doing that, it is awesome. Because then it's pretty easy to... So what I would say is, what the hell am I trying to do here? Couldn't find what I was looking for, but this is... So it's up here. So if you measure right here, you've got a possibility that maybe if it wants to imitate, and I always talk about the trading bots, right? That's why we thought XRP could come back down to 229 at least, because it was trying to imitate the left side of the pattern. Now we have to make sure XRP doesn't fall through that and go to that 207. What is it? $1.94 to 207, because at like 204, there's a decent amount of liquidity there for long traders to get liquidated. So if you look at it like this, up, whoops. Oh, I kept that on. I was going to say, why isn't it working? So it came here, formed that part of the drop, came around, up. Now, if we want to imitate this, there is a chance that we could do this before bouncing out, and it would line up with it. So we have to make sure this is the part of the pattern that's going to be the most difficult. It's either we run free, because when we hit discovery last time, as you can see, we haven't gone up here, but when we hit here, we came all the way through. Now a pull here. Are we going to make everybody whole here first, which would allow us to come back down? That's what you always have to pay attention to. These people have been sitting here now since May of 2024, actually earlier, about April. Yeah, since April of 2024. So they've been sitting there for over a year waiting for this rotation to reverse. Can you see that very clear inverse head and shoulders we drew out a very long time ago? That's why I don't like to delete charts. I like to let the charts run through. Because then when they start doing what we talk about, you're sitting there going, oh my God, we were 6 months ahead of this pattern, or 5 months, or 2 years, or whatever the case may be. And then when you see it play out, you're like, well, how can I be tricked here? This is exactly what I've been waiting for. So ZBCN major potential. It's getting towards that area. If we hold here, we're going another 50 to 300% quickly. That's not a joke. If we don't hold here, we could drop as much as 52% and back test at 002, just over 002 area. But this is nothing short of spectacular when you see stuff like this. ZBCN is doing the same thing for us as it did before. When a lot of the market was deciding to correct, ZBCN just rallied us 150% again from the back test in like a week. What could you do with 150%? Turned a couple $1,000s into a couple $1,000s more. So it's a nice thing to see. It's a nice thing to see. But with that being said, I'm going to finish saying hi to everybody. We're going to get into XRP. Couple things to talk about as well in the readings. I really want to go over this look at things, how XRP price is now targeting $4 after reversal from buy zone, because we touched the buy zone at 229 again. Are we going to be able to take that and push farther? And that's the micro buy zone. That's not the all-time buy zone. It's just on the back test. That was the buy zone. And then is the bear trap fading as key metric shows sell-off is easing? So those are two things that'll combat what we're talking about. And I like how Rick said he's right. Watch as much as possible. That's how I found out about ZBCN. You and me both, my friend. If I wouldn't have been in here like I am every single day for over 4 years now, I started March 24th of 2020. I would have never figured this out with all these different tokens. I can't possibly know them all. It's impossible. It is impossible. So, Pump Master Flash, good morning. I'm glad to see you in here. Shane, good morning. I've been love reading your stuff in the Telegram. You are full of knowledge, and you are one of the people that why it's imperative to keep new people coming in yearly. You're not as new now, but you brought in that vital energy and that, you know what happens? Some people get burned out, and you came in with that new vital energy, and you came in with all these roadmaps and white papers and things about how you were validating things for me about XDC that I knew about, but you started sending stuff in the last few days. And holy shit, this is why I'm so excited. Like, we can't have the micro view, we have to have the macro view. And I love how you bring that to the table, because there's a lot of people that need to see it. I agree. I'm going to keep stacking with XDC as well. I just wanted to see something with that 5% drop. Maybe it'll turn into 10 or 15 or up to 30. But I wanted to see the viability of XDC on BITUNIX. The only way to actually find out is when you're having a big sell-off moment, is if you sell before and then you go to buy back and you see what the ratio is. Right now, the ratio is freaking great. Let's see. It says, last July 4th gave us a bottom, so will it give us a top this year, Tom? Possibly. It feels like we're doing the opposite of last year, but we'll see. We'll see, because it's going to be whether or not we have a dump down here, which we did to 229. I'll show you on the charts, I promise. I like to say good morning to everybody, let everybody get in here. We went from 55 people to 80 now, which more people are starting to show up. But like I said, this is the rotation. We're used to it. We are used to it. Randad, good morning, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Your next badge is the 4-year badge, which is the XRP. Oh, for anybody who doesn't know. Here, let me get into my own chat real quick. Then you guys can see the Diamond Hands badge. Assuming it loads. Looks like this. I'm just going to say hello. That's the Diamond Hands badge. Oh, I need to update it because I created. So I updated this badge just a tiny bit. And you guys can tell me if you think it's stupid or not. You guys know how the badge looked. Look what I added with DGB. See the little phoenix? See this, like the baby bird? I got the baby one picking up DGB out of the fire. Isn't that pretty cool? It looks like the tail is being burned. Looks like it's a little on fire. I think that is so dope. I don't know about you guys, but that made me really happy when I created that yesterday. Really, really super happy. And like, you'll be able to see the slight differences. And people are going to be like, Tom, get to the charts, God. I'm like, well, it's my show. I got to do what I got to do. That was the, let's see. There's the old one. See right there? That was how it started. Then it progressed. And then you see before yesterday how it looked, if you go back to even a couple days ago. And then yesterday we threw in the DGB to tell you all you need to know about DGB, how I stand it next to XRP. Let's see. 1970 Legend, thank you so much for rejoining Tom's Army for your 9th month. Unbelievable with the XP predictor. That's unbelievable. ZBCN looks strong. What a fun ride so far. PS, go Bucks. Yes, indeed. You certainly humbled us this year, but don't worry, 1970 Legend. My second belt will be in, and this belt actually says 2023 National Champions. With the they had the 2-time Big Ten champions, but for some reason they didn't put the third one, these scumbags. But then again, 2023 says National Champions, and 21 and 2 says Big Ten Champions. So just wait until I have the double belt. It's been like 3 months I've been waiting for it. Let's see. Let's just say I had some very good gambling on FanDuel over the last week last several months. I always crush it in the NBA playoffs. I never bet when the game starts. I always wait until halftime or later, and then I'll do a spread plus over under parlay, and I've been crushing it. You're talking 150 into $600 to $700 religiously over the last 2 weeks, including one day where $50 turned into $2,200. Every morning Julie wakes up, I'm like, Julie, I hit my bet. She's like, of course you did. Of course you did. Yesterday I couldn't figure out a bet because I couldn't get the game on until the 4th quarter with like 8 minutes left, so I just kind of sat there. Which I'm glad I did because I was thinking the Knicks were going to win. But I always go on AI and I go on Gemini and I say, what's the over-under of so on and so on game, and what percentage of public money is on so-and-so team on the money line? And it'll go through Google like this, 3 seconds, and it'll give me the 71% of the money's on the Knicks last night. So if I would have seen that, I'd be like, oh, I guess Indiana's probably going to win this game because Vegas hates losing. And that's exactly what happened. Same way I capitalized on game one. 78% of the money was on the Knicks. And when Indiana went down and they were down like 14-point spread, I took them with the spread and the over, and it was such an easy hit because they came back to win. But I love the NBA playoffs. They're so rigged. It's probably the easiest sport in history to win money if you actually understand analytics. And I'm not saying to gamble. I'm just saying we're all gambling in crypto. So you have to maintain your own. You have to have some kind of constraint to be able to do what I do. Let's put it that way. William, welcome in. Gray Paul, good morning. I always wait, William. I've learned. Go through my spew in the beginning. Today I've been just talking, but that's how I am. David, good morning. The little guy, he is doing a lot better. He broke his fever for the most part. Yesterday, threw up twice. As you guys know, like overnight yesterday, like at 3 a.m., he woke up with a burning fever. And Friday night going into, or Thursday night going into Friday morning. And it got so high for a brief moment that he ended up having a ephemeral seizure, which was the first time that's ever happened. So I called the EMS and they came here just to check him out. I wanted to make sure that it was related to that, especially because that's what Julie thought when it was happening. And that's what happened. His temperature came down. Yesterday it was around 101. Today, though, he woke up. He wasn't as warm at all. He woke up, slept all the way through from 12 o'clock. Look up briefly at 4, but hasn't been sick since mid-afternoon, early evening yesterday. So it's 75% turnaround today from yesterday. So he bounced back pretty quickly. We go back home tomorrow morning, so hopefully he'll be feeling, 100%. So thanks for the question, though, David. I appreciate it. Let's see. Alec, good morning. B said, did you see where XRPH is being listed on Canada? I did. B, oh my God, I seen that. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I read it. Love the DGB ad. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate that. Pump Master Flash says that screener was awesome. Your screen is bad. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. If any of you guys missed XRP X1, this is your chance with ZBAC. I don't disagree with you, but after 150% move now from that back test, I would say I don't disagree, but I would say after that 150% move, I would look very, very hard here for the moment that this actually pushes up to the next stage. Algo is so far behind where it needs to be. There's a tremendous opportunity. Like, look at this, guys. It mimicked earlier in the pattern in the micro movements. See this? 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3. Is this going to be up or is it going to be down, up? This is the only question I have. I don't know because it did come up and it rallied through here and then came up and now it's, man, if it could hold this, we could come up here to those two next layers, 30 cents and 38 very quickly. I just know at some point, it's not just Algo, it's IOTA, it's DGB, it's ZIL, it's XDC, it's XRP. There's so many of them that when you start looking through, you're like, I know once this breaks out, XLM's another one, HBAR is one of them. There's so many of them. Alchemy Pays another one. I feel like MXC is as well. Now, Canto, I'm going to be honest with everybody. I sold Canto a couple days ago, not because I don't like it, but because the liquidity issues on crypto.com. When I went on it on Wednesday, the price was 0098. They were only offering 0088 and 65,000 tokens at a time to be sold. When I went on it on Thursday, they were offering 0093, even though the price was at 0096, and they were only letting you sell 65,000, even though it was pushing up in price. So I said, oh, well, this is bad. There's too much of a liquidity concern here with Canto. That's not good. It's not good business. So I sold it. And that's the reason why. I'm not dealing with the liquidity concern on an exchange to where even if something goes up 40%, I capitalize on none of it because there's not enough circulating sales. So that's something that I would caution you. If you're buying Canto, don't do it on crypto.com. It's the number one illiquid token I found there, and it's really detrimental with the way it does it. So if you're looking at it that way, unless you can send it from another exchange, I would definitely be pretty leery of it on crypto.com because there is like a 10 or 12% gap there. That's no good. 3 or 4% is one thing, but a 12% gap, that's not good. Not for anybody. So you're talking about instead of getting 0097 or 96, the one day it offered 0093 when it was at 96, so that was close enough for me. But most of the days it was at 0098 the one day, and it's offering 0087. That's an 11%. That's too much. So I try to come out here and tell you my liquidity concerns. That's a big one on there. I'm glad I remembered it, but that's a big liquidity concern. Good morning, Never Done Super Chat. Thank you for all. Hey, Gator, thank you so much for the $1.99 donation. I really appreciate that. Not the first donation this morning. We had 1970 legend rejoin Tom's army for a 9th month this morning as well. It's incredible. I know we got to get into XRP in the intro, but there was so much information this morning. I'm sure, hey, 92 people stuck it out. So you guys understand why it's so important to go around the market. Trial by fire, good morning. Says, good morning, Tom and Army. Excellent. Let's see who else is in here that I didn't see. I think I've seen everybody. This is great. This is great. Riding this boat called Zebak to Bahala. Good morning. 9:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Saturday, May 24th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire with the side bet on XM and Future Digibite. OG with the lost nut on Kanto with the bad pricing, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. How is ENA looking, Tom? Paolo, welcome in. I don't even know what ENA. What is ENA? Sorry, my brain's not working in that direction. Justin, good morning. Bigfooty, good morning. You know, speaking of Bigfoot, we had a sighting of Sasquatch in Monroe County a couple days ago in Michigan. 2 people swear they seen Sasquatch running. True story. True story. Shane says, I've been buying my XCC on Uphold and sending it to self-custody. Nothing wrong with that. Anywhere you can find it to send it to your... Nothing wrong with that at all. I would suggest you use BITUNIX to do that so you don't pay the fees. That's just me. From my own personal experience with Uphold, you're getting bent over a railing. And I know I used to buy XCC on Uphold years ago. I would encourage you to use BITUNIX if you can find a token and not pay the fees. That 3 to 5% adds up very quickly. More info, the better. We are all That's true. We all do have more multi-tokens. You're welcome, Jennifer, and welcome in, love. She said, thanks for covering ZBCN. You are welcome. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening. Like I said, as the live went on, I figured we'd get over 100 or close to it, and now we're at 97. But it shows interest in the ones who are actually paying attention in the morning. And I love seeing it start out with 50, 40, 30, and then building up as we go. The worst thing is when it starts out at 150 right away, and then you see it going down because people are just not feeling what you're feeling. You live in Monroe County, what is that, Pennsylvania? That's awesome. I didn't even know there was, if that's what you're saying. Maybe they seen the picture Julie made you of the set. Maybe. Oh, that is so funny. That's the greatest Christmas gift. Oh, it's on my wall. I love it. I love it. But oh man. So let's get into XRP. I made you guys wait long enough. It's been a half hour and we haven't even looked at XRP yet. So $2 and has it really been 33 minutes? See, I love just talking to everybody. XRP at $2.34.7. Can't look at this chart yet. We would have to look clean at this one. I look at this back test. How many days did we talk about the double rejection at 265 and having to come back and back test 229? How many days did we talk, or 228, and then as the days go on, it could be all the way down to 216? How many days did we sit here talking about this? Wow, look at it. The few people are from Pennsylvania, it looks like. Unless they're talking about the Panama Canal, and I'm just an idiot. I have made that mistake before with Cape Cod Kyle. I said he was from Florida, but he was from Massachusetts. So, first time. I live in Butler County. Sheriff Jones from CNN, the guy that's where I live. Ooh, nice. Nice. Pump Master Flash in Ohio. We got a lot of people in Ohio. I'm surprised you guys can say Michigan. You know, there's that pesky letter M in there. Anyhow, just small joke to the defending national champions. Let's see. So I mean, that back test is this is why I'm not feeling so bad about this. Like, we've sat here for so long and we haven't broke through. Do you see the validity here? And I know the weekends scare us. I do. But the last 2 weekends could have been considered the hold weekends. So are we going to have another hold weekend and or breakthrough? Well, there's only a couple ways to look at this. If we go back into this pesky chart and we look at our history, because that's what we're doing. I don't mind, because I don't consider this a waste of time. So I don't mind making you guys go back in history and doing it again. Rewatching, doing it, redoing, and going and back and forth and do. Because I could argue, and I have, that you could break this into a much different way. I'm doing it almost like cycle to cycle. So you see the one to the second wave to the third wave. Long corrective wave for 3.5 years for anybody who's never seen this. So you go from December of 13 until the eventual breakout in March of 17. So you're talking 3.5 years almost. Then you get into the one, the fifth wave that breaks through all the way up. So now you got 1, 2, back up to the third. But look how big the third wave was compared to the first. That already invalidated the thesis. So you'd have to look at a breakdown. So fourth to fifth were very small. Went into what I consider a WXY correction. But what we did here was go from supply box 1, went through demand or distribution, rejected at demand, fell right through distribution because everybody was selling through distribution, created a slightly elevated supply zone 2. Finished off the corrective, failed, went into a WXY, failed in distribution to force the correction. But now we have a more elevated supply zone 3. Created that correction, then we went into a one wave up, second wave down. Now, the speculation here is that this whole wave, and this is some speculation. I disagree, however, but it is speculation that you can have. I personally disagree. Because we have a 5 wave here, I'm just going to do it with an A, B, C, D, E, which is like a 5 wave, but just for purposes of looking at this so that you don't see it the same way. So A, B, and then C, or third wave, you could say, would be the next push up, which means we're only third. Now, if we're like this, what do you guys think is more accurate? Do you think we're in the 4th corrective wave trying to get into the 5th? Or do you think the second was just a corrective? And the first wave up, you could say the whole thing there was the first wave. That is the discussion that I would like to have with everybody. Because if that's the case, then you could see something like this happening. Right? And that's how you could very easily get up into this range. So that's the difference. Are we in something like that? Or are we just in a second wave corrective? Like, that is the discussion. Because if it's only the second wave corrective, we're just getting this party started. So that's the thing. Like, that's what I'm struggling with. Is this a traditional 5 wave? And I use the A, B, C, D, E just so you can see the 5 wave in a different way. But is this what's really going on? If so, we have a better chance at 679 instead of 549. And it would make more sense how we could break out into a third instead of having why the 4th wave consolidation, why it looks so weird right now and so small to the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I think that's probably more likely if this ends up playing out. And I'm going to keep it with the A, B, C, D, E so we can see let me switch the color. So we can see the difference between, no, I don't like that. $2. Ooh, I like that. So you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or A, B, C. No, I don't like that because it's too close to the color scheme of the other one. Oh, there we go. I almost feel like that almost feels like, oh, man. This is the problem. This almost looks better. However, this might have dragged out too far if you look at it. That puts us into September. The breakout would occur between June, back test. But, see, I mean, that is true. That would push us up to that parabolic. Wow, that is pretty crazy. You're right about that. That pushes us right around that July 4th. And then we say this time we could peak on July 4th. That's a little scary now looking at it like that. Then we could have a several month consolidation and then the continuation going into when you see the pumpkins at the end of October into November. Oh man, that's going to be something to debate over time here. We're going to have to debate this over time, like which way, which form. I almost feel like we're only in the second corrective wave right now. That's my problem I've been having. Because I've studied this chart, and the only thing that looks off is how quick this is happening. If it's doing it like past, it almost looks like... Yeah, white does work good for lines. You're right about that. Especially for anybody on a phone. I think we might have figured out this. I think we figured it out. So but everybody's stuck in the wave 4 corrective when this might only be the second wave. And trying to bounce into a third. This would make so much more sense. I think that makes... Wow. That's how we push out, too. That's how this would push out, because then you'd say the eventual would probably drag on until 26. And it would take time. Man, that does make a lot more sense. Look at this. That actually is mimicking what we're doing better. And it would make sense why through A or the first wave we rejected at all-time highs, came back into a second corrective or the B wave in this particular look, got rid of all of that overhead, cleared out from 7 years practically of people being stuck in a spot at all-time highs, gave us that blessing, and now we're going through the trying to bounce into the C wave or the third wave, which should be an impulse. I'm going to have to study this more. This has been bothering me for about 3 weeks now. So I'm glad I put it on here just to get everybody else's take. Justin says, I think we are only in the second wave right now. That's what I mean. James, you have a question? Ask the question, friend. It won't let me super chat. Aw. Sometimes it does that. That it's not uncommon. That's why I always tell everybody, if you want to send a donation and you don't want to do it through YouTube or YouTube's giving you problems, just look here. If you really want to, you don't have to, James. You offer a lot outside of just donating. You're part of Tom's Army, but you offer incredible information. But there's Cash App, PayPal, Venmo for anybody who's interested. Not encouraging it, not even telling you to do it, but if you want to. Thank you to the over 39,200 subscribers now. We picked up another 100 subscribers. Wow. We're only 800 subscribers away from 40,000. That doesn't even seem real. I remember when my videos were getting 200 views a piece. Now, I could put out anything and they don't ever get under. Well, depends how long. Like yesterday, I did a 35-minute update. I love some of you are saying the second wave. Because I feel that as well. I can feel it being the second. Man, that is so freaking weird. And it would make sense why we bounce from demand to distribution before pushing out into discovery. Because if the C wave is what pushes into discovery and then the corrective pulls us back down to back test the demand zone, that would allow us one whole wave in discovery. And if that's the case, could at best get a double top, but it should extend, but it shows how all of us come together and figured it out. Absolutely, Pump Master Flash, for real. It makes most sense because that's exactly correct. Justin says it makes the most sense because the pattern wouldn't fit the other options. No, it wouldn't. You're correct about that. That's why the other 5-wave look is just so weird. It seemed like it moved too small of most movements. I know a lot of you are seeing this too with your action and responses. So I'm going to keep it like this. So when we look at this chart, we can see kind of a differential because it does make sense to push out and exhaust ourselves by July 4th. And then, man, I love that. Think about it. We would have a parabolic spike into discovery leading into July 4th, as last year we had the detrimental dump leading into 4th of July. That would further it would further emphasize, I was going to use a different word, but emphasize fits better. This would further emphasize the fact XRP is in a super cycle. If this is only on a third wave it's trying to push into, and we've only done second wave, imagine if this is only 2 waves. And so many people are focused on it going into a 5th that I think if we just open it up a little bit, we can see that's probably one big left shoulder, which means that it would have to be a second corrective to do this. That's incredible. This is why I love coming on here every day. So I love coming on here every day. And even though it didn't seem like there was anything to be discovered today, now we have 112 people that got to see this firsthand as we started to break this down. Jason, thank you so much for not only being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News, but also sending a $1.99 donation. That's the second donation from someone today. That's incredible. And one person rejoined in Tom's Army for better than 6+ months now. For a 9th month, 1970 legend to be exact. ZBCN hits an all-time high. Thank you, Jason. I love it. Yeah, but he read all about my question. I read all about your question. I thought you had a question. I thought I seen it. Unless I missed it. Where's the question? Let's see. Jose, welcome in. Watch, recycle, repeat is indeed. Watch the content. Recycle by sharing with friends and family and your foes. And repeat by coming back and watch the next update, live, and or short. Where the hell is your where's your question at, James? Let's see. I know he said. I know. Oh, your question was not. It didn't let you. Where the hell is this? Let's see. Let's see if I can find James because I don't see it. The question I missed. Good morning from New York City. Good morning, Potsy. Yeah, James, I must be an idiot, but I can't see your question. I see everybody else's. ZBCN all-time highs. I see you asked about, or said you couldn't send a chat. And then you said I had a question too. It won't let me super chat. Yeah, where the hell is... Unless it was way above. DGB. Shit, I don't know. And he puts us in Christmas time. Could be October. Yes, sir. Oh, above donation. Let's see. So right above it, James. I don't see anything, though, above it. Honestly, I don't know what happened to your comment. Because I don't see the comment you're talking about. I just went all the way through here. Thank you, Paulo, for loving the channel. Athena. Okay, Athena. James re-asked it because I honestly don't see it. I don't know if it got deleted or it never posted. I think that's what you're... No, wait a minute. Is that the one you were talking about? Yeah, ENA, that's it. Oh, Jesus. My friend. I like when people send me stuff when it's in this kind of a rotation. Because then we can actually look at it from in the depths of despair. So if we look at the transgression here, like the typical appreciation, I mean, that's the best way to look at it. We've had this short-term breakout that now we're looking to hold a back test. So this breakdown right now is absolutely needed. So we had to back test this, so that's fine. This could be the first step of a major breakout. So this was a good time to share this, like a perfect time. I like when people share it when it's just starting to break out, not when it's in this parabolic spike. This is how we found ZBCN. Somebody did the exact same thing and it looks similar. I have no clue what the hell this is, though. Just like at the time, I had no clue what ZBEC was. Now I'm very, very familiar. I've been doing so much research. That thing's got a cannon that could go off in reality. What the hell just happened here? Couple donations. Wow. Cat D, thank you so much, love, for the $5 donation and also being in Tom's Army for 6+ months. Or I mean 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. If we are in a second wave, third could be scary. What a great opportunity to get bottom of third. What's the target? I mean, if it happens like this, the third wave should be in discovery, which means the back test on the third would be somewhere around 340, likely to 365. I'm putting this on here, and then we're going to come back to this. I want to answer this question in a way where we can see it, and I'm going to finish that chart because I'm fascinated. Just fascinated by how that looks. So if it does come up here, I would think it would bring us. So if this actually goes into the C, which you can just say is the third wave, if it comes up here, I do see us pushing past $4, just barely, and then back testing somewhere like this. I don't know what the date would be, but I think it would back test if this is the way it's set up. It'd be a multi-month back test, and it would just back test the demand zone to prove that we're ready to push through discovery. And then I think that would open up the door instead of going to 549. I think this is how we could get up to 679. It's a slightly higher target, but this was our maximum target, and I think this is how we could get to it. So instead of 549 area, you're talking about an additional 23% from that area. But if you look at it from the back test, instead of getting, 549, and I'll move the 5 so you can see it better. Instead of 56 roughly, you're looking at another 40% over the top. So that's the difference, really. You're looking at a difference in movement like that. It doesn't seem extreme, but now you're talking about if we go up to 679, maybe we back test the 549 breakout point as the next support, and especially if we back test and, carry on. So, it's an excellent observation you've made for sure. And the target would be, I think, 679. Bottom of third target, I would say, would be after the third hits. I think you'd be looking for the back test at 348 roughly, somewhere around there, to highlight the fact that we're good in discovery. We finally held the back test on demand for the first time and didn't have to fall back into it. And then we would push back up. And with that kind of a scenario, I could see us pushing past 650 to 679, somewhere in that area. Excellent. Thank you so much. I just seen a slew of donations coming. It threw me off. Holy hell. John Hall, thank you for the $5 donation. Incredibly generous. Incredibly generous. Then I see big donations here as well. Where's it? A $20 donation from Shane said, I finally made it to the early live. Aloha from Vegas, Tom. Oh, thank you, Shane, so much. And Shane sends a $20 donation, but look very closely at his donation. He's got the XRP Phoenix badge. One of 3 people with the Phoenix badge, not including me right now. Believe it or not, that's 4 years in Tom's Army. And remember, I started this channel March 24th of 2021. It takes most people a while to become partner. We became partner in 2 weeks because my first video got over 10,000 views, over 1,000 subscribers, and it had hella watch time. And then you have to wait 4 to 6 weeks for them to allow you to do the paid subscriptions. So literally, from Jump Street, Shane's been supporting me, like literally from Jump Street when he had no reason to. And I really appreciate that for 4 years, man. Seriously. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for that, my friend. That's incredible. That pretty much says it all right there. That just said, wow. And then a $49.99 donation. Oh, I get it. 1970 Legend. This is I feel sorry for you. Here's $50. We're the national champions, and we took your title, and you didn't even get to enjoy it for more than a year, you sons of bitches. But anyhow, thank you for the $49.99 donation. And I know it's not a pity donation. I know it's an appreciative donation. And we'll go into ZBCN for sure. I just want to finish this comment real quick for ENA, for Paolo. So if this breaks out for anybody watching, we're looking to hold this back test down, and 33 cents would be the area to hold. We get through here and we've got some micro levels. So don't think that it's just going to come all the way fucking up here for a 90% or several 100% move. What I think would happen from here, and I look back at some of these resistance lines and I like this. See how here we got rejected, went back down. See how over here it comes below here, we get rejected, which to me means we've created a pivot layer right about there. And it's just something that I like to do personally. I go back to old resistance and then I create that pivot point layer. And it works out good, that pivot point, because what did it create? A nice cup down here. Wow, this is creating inverse head and shoulders as well. Paulo, for the record, when somebody asks me to look at something, this is the exact moment I wish everybody would ask me. Not after the big breakout, but when it's teasing a multi-layer breakout. This is what I desire. This is what we did with ZBCN, and it allowed us 150% sell out, wait for it to come and do the rotation, and then come back in for a final buy. And now it's up another 150%, and we're just cooking. I got a good bad feeling that this is going to end up doing something similar. So you're going to look at that area. That's an incredible jump up, though. But it's creating a cup. Can you guys see it? A multifaceted one as well, which is the most bullish of cups if this plays out. So if you ever see a cup like this where it's rounding the bottom and then it puts in a left shoulder, a head, and now it's going to put in a right. Look at that. If it does that, oh, sweetheart. This was never on my targeted buys, but it is now. This is absolutely going to get on the list. You got 25%, but you don't want to see an invalidation here. And going back in this chart to 24, I wish I could see farther back. I don't know when this started. I'm going to see if a different chart goes farther back. Oh, beautiful. That's about as far back as we're going. So this is beautiful. So this token's relatively new. Holy hell, and look at what it's created here. I'm not going to use this chart, but anybody see what this is doing? Bottom. If it does something like that, you can see what it's doing early on. Oh, boy. Oh, man, look what that's trying to do. If this happens, oh, boy. Paulo, you are on the money here, friend. You're on the money so much that this has to be moved up in the list. Like ZBCN, if I looked at it, this is the way I would look at it now just because of positioning. Either just so that I can make sure that I pay attention to that ENA. That is in an unbelievable spot. ZBCN is now pushed into discovery. And now we're one hold away at 336 from pushing out firmly into discovery. But now, just pay attention to what I said at the start of this live. This is where you theoretically could come back and we could mimic the earlier part now if we don't hold this. Now, what I want is to go boom. But now remember, we had this movement here. So emphasize that. Emphasize equal. Trading bots like to pull the same formations. They like to, in the algorithm, remember, having a trading bot in the algorithm would be no different than you having 10 different drawings. And you have an algorithm that you say, okay, I need this to mimic this no matter what. It doesn't look the same, but you've got to have all 5 pictures have to mimic themselves in different ways. Which means if there was a left arm, there's always going to be a left arm in a slightly different way. If there was a right arm, there's always going to be an arm in the same specific way, slightly different. If there was a head, it would be in the same fashion. That's what's happening here with ZBCN. It's created an all-time inverse head and shoulders. All-time inverse head and shoulders. This has never been in discovery in the history of its chart until now. The most profitable times in a cryptocurrency is in discovery. The most unprofitable time in cryptocurrency is to buy something right when it hits discovery. It's a really fucked up situation. Because most people buy, oh my God, ZBCN's in discovery. I may not have bought it here when Tom said or here when Tom said, but damn it, I'm going to buy it here after 300%. How the fuck am I down 25% when these sons of bitches are up? I hate this token, right? And that's what happens. 38%. But it's because we waited till discovery and we skipped over the true indicator this whole way up. So I hope that helps 1970 Legend. I really do. We are only on the second wave, what do you think the potential price peak cycle is? I mean, I would simply raise the target initially from 549 to 679, which for potential wise on 10,000 tokens, it nets you another $13,000. So what does that do? It increases our potential by 13,000 on 10,000 tokens, dollars, not cents. So, and that's a big increase in my opinion. It's not chump change, not to me. This is indicative though. See how many people left because I didn't talk about XRP the whole time. But yeah, I'm gonna go check on my son. It's been an hour. I think we did a good job here. I'll come back later and do more updates, but I think we did what we need to do here. I gotta go take care of some stuff. What is that, Sean? That is Athena. I got to do a lot of research on it, but Paulo introduced me to it. And it certainly seems like it's finishing off this back test, my friend. It certainly looks like it's finishing it off. 15th birthday for XRP. That's an excellent correlation as well. Multifaceted in the macro double bottom. Absolutely. No, I haven't looked at layer AI. I'm going to take a screenshot of this so I can look at it after. I just screenshot it on my phone so I can remember. But Sean, I'll look into it and then I'll let you know. Double top 25 makes sense to me. Yes, indeed. Okay, so thank you, everybody. I'm going to go make sure my son's doing good. We'll read those articles later. I'm not too interested in reading that right now. I think we did a good job. Make sure you pay attention to BITUNIX. I'm not going to say much about it, but it's in the video description below for all the reasons I talked about during the live. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you to the 39,200 subscribers. Make sure you turn that bell notification to all so you give YouTube a chance to share my content. And thank you just for everybody being part of this live. We're up to like 115 people till we got off of XRP. So thank you to everybody who stayed off.